You know it's a sunny day, and we going out to play. I got smoke up in my eyes again. Oh,
hello world, love, peace. Actually, before I even get into it, disclaimer: this is all a fantasy. This is all a whole movie. This is all a joke. Everything is all a joke right now. This is my disclaimer. Please take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt. You don't have to believe me. It's all up to you. This is all fiction. Yeah, that's my disclaimer right there. Don't take everything for don't believe everything I say. Yeah. And that's out of the place. Yeah. And this is no hate to nobody. I'm not saying no hate to nobody. I love the whole world. I love everybody. So yeah, there we go. I have some notes right here in my book, and I just put my thoughts into, paper. Number one thing is, I don't know where this came from. I was just born and everybody is celebrating it. So I was just like, all right then, I guess this is what is happening. Let's just celebrate this for no reason, But then as me grow up, we start ask questions like, why may I do this? Why purpose? Everybody feel like, they have to get gifts for somebody. You have to do this for this. And it's like, you put this pressure on yourself and you keep on, oh, I need the money to buy this for this person. And most of the gifting, they kind of get to my head, because I'm like, why am I obliged to buy something for somebody, just out of nowhere? So I did my research, and over the years, I've come up with a lot of things in my head, but just now, this year of the Gregorian calendar, or whatever calendar you want to call it, the year that we go by in the Western world, 2020, I decided, you know what, I'm tired of people asking me, what is this? I'm tired of people saying to me, Merry Christmas, and I'm like, I don't celebrate that. And I keep on explaining. So this video is for you who continuously telling me Merry Christmas when I don't celebrate it. So, number one thing, Christmas, it's not Christian at all. So from my notes here, it's like, it has pagan roots. That's when I started doing my research, I realized it has pagan roots. Pagan is like Wiccan, I think. That is what it is actually, not thing. Wiccan, so where the Wiccan thing come from now? It's around the time with Rome and all of them. That I don't even remember what time that was, medieval or Renaissance, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Anyways, my biggest question is, why would Christians take a pagan festival if they hate pagans so much? Because growing up, I always knew Christians, they were like, when they pagan, they hate pagans, like they have this thing against pagans. Why? I don't understand. So it was just there. So I was trying to get it, and it's like, so pagans are considered the witches or the warlocks or whatever. So I was wondering, why would the Christian church come out and be like, oh, okay, we're gonna take your festival for this day? Why would you take something from somebody you call the heathen? Why would you take something from the heathen? So I was like, this don't make no sense, right? Anyways, that's one thing. Next thing is, the 25th is not Jesus' birthday. Jesus Christ, that's my homie, that's my nigga right there, shout out to Jesus Christ. That's the homie, man. Shout out to you, man. You doing your shit. Anyways, the 25th is not Jesus' birthday. That don't make no sense, first of all, because when you're looking at history, you have all this kind of discrepancy. Everybody try to understand when did Jesus born. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. That's just like 25th is Jesus' birthday. So when you come out as a Christian, you're like, oh, Merry Christmas, because Jesus' birthday, day of the birth of Christ and whatever, Bethlehem. And yeah, chat fucker, because you don't know. You're ignorant and you just go off of what somebody tell you when you don't know for a fact. You weren't there, and you just believe the church or whoever the fuck tell you, say, I demand birthday when no kind of evidence is not there that this is his birthday. Anyways, that aside, I found out that from my research, from reading online and books and all that, that the birthday was originally January 6th. So how come you go from January 6th go all the way back to the 25th? Anyways, it's not found in any Christian writings that the man born the 25th. So that out of the window. So when you say that, just know say you're just ignorant. Next thing, the Saturnalia thing. The Romans used to celebrate Saturnalia, and Saturnalia is like the worship of Saturn and the feasting and the gambling and the role exchange where the slaves can be mean to the masters or whatever, because you know Rome was run off a basically it was a slave kind of a slave ran, not really a slave ran, but they had slaves. Rome was mostly slaves in Rome actually, from what I've found. Anyways, there would be a lot of sex, role reversal on the 25th, but it wasn't the 25th before. At one point it was always the 21st, and then they just moved it to the 25th, but it was not just one day. It started in one day and then went and continued. Anyways, I don't get why they be doing that. I found that there's a guy, Wenceslas the First, Duke of Bohemia, born 907 AD, September 935 AD. He was stabbed repeatedly while praying, in front of a church. This guy. So it turns out that this guy get tabbed up in front of one church and then dismember the guy, like fuck him up, like really tab him up and fuck him up in front of the church. And I wasn't there, but I'm assuming it was Christians that did that. Okay. So it turns out that the guy's grandmother was pagan. And maybe they knew that this guy is a pagan, he gonna fuck up the pagans and all that. Even nowadays in drill music I still hear people, the pagan them and I love them, even in Jamaica, like you're a pagan, if you're like if you sold somebody out or they don't like you, you're a pagan, it's like the fuck, what did the pagans do so bad? And then you just take their day from them, anyways. That aside, another thing is 1700s, the carolers, like people who come to your door and sing and be like, they would sometimes break the fucking door down, kick down your door and be like, yo, let me have that food and that drink, let me have that wine, motherfucker, ain't no singing. They got nicer over the years. They weren't always that nice. The carolers weren't always nice people. And it turns out that the carol song, it was based off of the guy who got stabbed up. Like the guy, the Wenceslas the First, the Duke of Bohemia person, they made that song out of kind of like flexing. From what I found. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, I don't know, you do your own research. But from what I found, they were basically flexing on this guy. And they were like, yo, we just stabbed him fuck up, like, yo, it's like a clan and they fucked them up. So they were like, yo, just make a song about it, hit the studio, you feel me, or whatever. They went to the church and they're in the choir, so they're gonna do all the yeah, so they put a song together and then that's where that song came from. I'm not sure if it's the Deck the Hall song, but that's the only Christian song that I know about. Anyways, when I go into the etymology of the old Saint Nick thing, that person, that name, the etymology of that name is also like Satan, Lucifer. So Saint Nick is the Lucifer entity. So every time now the Saturn thing is coming in, this Satan, Saturn thing is like coming in. Anyways, that's one etymology thing. It didn't say the 25th was Jesus' birthday until like 300 years after he was dead. You feel me? Like when you look into like things that's documented, and you find it was like not till like the mid 4th century. In the Roman almanac, there was like a list of what's it called, birthdays or something like that, and the first date was the 25th. They put the 25th that Christ was born. So I don't know. It just sounds like a good story for well, just like, okay, you know what, the 25th is like something about the 25th, you know, this winter solstice and all that. Yeah, the winter solstice and all that. Okay, I guess that's what we're going to stick with. Yeah, the Krampus thing. I'm not sure if you ever even watched Krampus. When you go to let's go to Netflix and look for Krampus, or even any movie thing and look for, watch the Krampus movie. The Krampus thing is about the original Santa Claus and the original Christmas thing, and that's like, it's, the Krampus is basically the devil of Alpine Europe, and Alpine I think is in Austria or Germany, something like that. I don't even remember. Anyways, it's, the Krampus is like a half man, half goat thing, right? And it comes around every year to punish the kids and steal them and put them in sacks. Like, what? You know? So I'm like, what? Why would they do that? Anyways, they did it, and they said, okay, Krampus is the cool, and then the adults would dress up like Krampus on Christmas Day and mess around with the kids, like try to scare the kids, like, oh, if you're naughty, if you were naughty, we're going to punish you or whatever. And they would literally do this. Like, there's Krampus cards, like postcards. If you look up online on Etsy, you can find the Krampus postcards, all that. So I said, why them do this? Why them do this? You know. Also, the word Krampus, I don't want to forget this, is derived from Krampen, which is a German word for claw. I don't know why you need claws. They're ripping something out. I don't know what they're ripping out. Anyways, so there's also another German word, Krampusnacht. It basically means Krampus night, and that's the night, the Christmas night, where the adults dress up and frighten the kids. And I'm just like, why would they do that? You know, it sounds more like Halloween to me. You know, sound more like Halloween to me. So anyways, it seems like they're feeding off of the fear of the kids. And every time I get deeper I get into this, it has something to do with kids, like the fear of kids, you know. Even the gifts, it's always the kids. You want to put the kids into Santa's lap. Even that shit is like, what the fuck? Like, why you making your kids sit in some random guy's lap? You know, like, what the fuck is this shit? Anyways, if you're okay with that, that's your shit. I don't know. That's fine. You do your shit. I do my shit. I don't want to be doing that. You know, I don't want to be doing that shit. Also, there's a Krampus loft. This is the Krampus run. Is the night, you know, when they would get drunk. This is what I found. I wasn't there, okay, but there's document of this, that they would get drunk and dress up in that the red and then the white and whatever, and chase the kids. They would be drunk. So imagine Christmas night, a bunch of adults just drunk and then run around scaring the kids and all that. And you know, also when you get drunk, right, it's a form of spirit possession. So the dress that they wear, the red and the white or the whatever, and that bringing that entity into embodiment, right? It's like, and then you're getting drunk. When you get drunk, you kind of open that realm for the spirit to come in and act out through you. So why were they creating fear by scaring kids while drunk with the image of an entity, some entity, right? This sound like spirit possession. You know, this sound like some kind of spirit possession thing, kind of. That's what it sounds like to me, you know. Even if you go to like buy liquor, you see spirit or whatever, you know. So you think that's okay? This is the history of Christmas, by the way. This is the history of Christmas, okay? And this the Krampus and the Krampus laugh and all this stuff that I'm talking about right now, this is what the pagans were doing. This is not what the Romans were doing. This is what the pagans were doing, right? So this is where it came from first, before even the Romans or whatever took it up. And you can say, yeah, the Romans are the pagans, or who the Romans were, but well, you can never know who the Romans were, because they just took everything from everybody else, you know. Anyways, because before they were Christians, who were they? They weren't Christians at first, you know. Anyways, it's just history. It's just history. Anyways, the original Santa, we already know the original Santa now, Krampus, right? Basically represents Satan. And who is Satan, right? So now we want to get into who is Satan. Cool. But before we get into, actually, yeah, let's get into who is Satan, right? Satan is what? Saturn, Saturnalia, and all these different words. And you notice all these words tied into, you know, it's like one thing has so many names. Why does one thing have so many names? I really wonder that, why one thing has so many names. And it turns out, what I found, right, is that Saturn, the word for Saturn in Hebrew is Satyr. That's Satyr, okay? And that's Hebrew for Saturn, and that's also Hebrew for goat demon, Moloch. I don't know if you know what Moloch is, but if you Google it, you can find who Moloch is. Basically like an entity that people sacrifice kids to. I don't know what kind of thing is that. I don't know, but maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyways, Moloch, Milcom, Kronos, and Rampan. So then the one that really stick out to me are the Rampan one, right? So the Rampan now, it's like where the Pan thing come in, right? I know about the Pan. Pan is like some fertility deity in Wicca and witchcraft, or you know, pagan religion, or whatever you want to call it, or whatever you see it as. Pan is best known for the sexual and fertility kind of thing. That's what I've understood from the whole situation, right? Anyways, so remember, we go back to Saturnalia. Saturnalia was when the gifts and sacrifices to gods was happening. This is before the whole Christmas thing came in, right? So they're doing gifts, they're giving gifts, and they're doing the sacrifices. What sacrifices? I don't know what kind of sacrifices. I don't know if they killed animals or whatever, you know. A lot of religions, they do sacrifices or whatever, you know. Anyways, the Saturnalia was originally December 17, until the pagan thing was like taken up by them in ancient Rome. So now we know why we give gifts, because it all was rooted in the gift giving from Rome. So then we want to go back to the horn thing, right? The horn thing is what really stood out to me, right? I was like, why is horn god such a big thing, right? So then we go back and we realize that it's really connected to the Baphomet entity, right? And who is the Baphomet entity, right? The Baphomet is like an entity that has like a penis and breasts and horn and wings, and it's like all these things on the Baphomet entity that just like symbolize a whole lot of things. I'm going to tell you what they symbolize in my perspective. But I realized that the Christmas tree, right? The Christmas tree is just so similar to the Baphomet with the penis, the erect penis, the phallus, right? It's like there's like a ball on top of the penis, I believe, or somewhere around it, and there's a phallus that just like erects up, right? And it's like a big old cock, okay? It's a big old cock, okay? Big old cock right there. So you have to remember that a lot of things, all these things is symbolism. Why we wear red on Christmas, why people wear red on Christmas, why the gifts, why the colors, why the lights, right? So everything has some kind of symbolism to it. So the Baphomet thing now, the symbolism with that, I realized with the tree is the balls represent the nuts, the seeds, right? And the tree, that's nature, right? We're going, because remember, this is the same entity, right? They have all these different names, but it's the same thing. And remember, Pan was out in nature. It's like a nature kind of fertility entity. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Let me know. I don't know. Let me know in the comments or whatever. But that's what I have understood from it. And so now it makes sense to me, right? Why people go out in nature, uproot a tree, bring it into their house to represent that. They're going to represent the penis, and then they put the balls on there. Like, why would you put balls on a tree? I don't know. Maybe you like balls on a tree for some reason. I don't know. Who told you to put balls on a tree? You just get up, oh, this is cool, everybody else is doing it, let's just put balls on a tree. Anyways, the balls represent seeds, the nuts, nut sacks. Anyways, cojones. Oh, what is that a word? Spanish word? Cojones, yes. So that was kind of weird to me, you know, because if this is all connected to the Baphomet, right, and there's a big old cock, and then now that ends up in Rome, right? Ain't no big old cocks in Rome. The fuck you talking about? Like, when you look at all of the statues, the men's statues, the dicks are small as fuck, like this, like not even like this, like this. So there's some small ass penises on the men and most of the deities too. Some small ass penises in Rome. So this big ass cock on the Baphomet, right, is not from there. Even Pan, when you look at the Pan, I believe when you look at the Pan deity, the penis is like huge as fuck. Ain't no big ass. If you feel white, you know your cock is not that huge. You know your cock ain't that huge. It's not. It's just not. You know. Okay. So I'm like, all right. The only place big cocks like that is from Africa, like modern Africa, if that's what we call it. So I'm like, this entity with the big ass cock must come from Africa, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm starting to doing the digging, and I find out that there's a lot of entities also, right, but with different names in Africa with big ass cocks like that too. Even when I was in Jamaica, there was a lot of depiction of like the wooden craft stuff with some big cocks on them. And you know that shit ain't from Europe. That shit is not from the pagan, whatever people, the white people. The fucking mean. You know this is fact. This is like in modern culture and all that. Anyways, I don't know. But from what I've seen from the sculptures that them motherfuckers do and all that, ain't no white man that a big ass cock like that. So they would not be representing them. They would not make a sculpture with a big cock representing themselves. So this Baphomet, Pan, Moloch, Goat, Demon, Saturn, Milcom, Kronos, or whatever entity is not from there. So it is from somewhere in the African continent, I would say. Anyways, I also realized that even the Baphomet also, there's a lot of Baphomet temples in the US. They have like the Baphomet Temple Church or whatever. It's like an actual organization or church or whatever they want to call themselves. And they have a temple in New York. That's their main headquarters, New York. And they have one in Detroit. And they have one in Florida, right? And you see the entity with the wings and all that, and the kids around it looking up to that individual. So from my eyes, I realized that this entity, right? Because even from the Pan entity depiction, it is basically representing fertility. Okay, so now I'm understanding that, okay, has a lot to do with fertility. So why are the kids being taken away? Why does it have to always be kids getting taken away, right? Okay, so all right, so the energy of the sun and all that is big on the 25th or around that time, they say, and the solstice and all that. So why does the kids come in? They're gonna take the kids away. Why you have to equip them? I don't even know what that for. Anyways, I started to go into it, and I'm like, since this is from Africa or somewhere in Africa, which entity or deity in the African continent is the biggest or most recognized one with horns? Because it's the horns are big, you know, like there's some horns there. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look for entities with horns, right? So I found Amun-Ra, and I'm like, okay, Amun-Ra, it's a Kush deity depicted as ram-headed, and so ram, you know, a ram is basically a goat, and it has horns. So the ram-headed is basically a symbol of like fertility. That's from what I see. Maybe it's not true to you, but true to me. That's what I think. That's what I believe. Anyways, I realized that Amun-Ra, or the Baphomet, is basically like an Egyptian deity called Baphomet. I couldn't find it anywhere online, but there's some truth to it. You go do your own research or whatever. Anyways, Baphomet later became Muhammad. And I'm like, okay, so they keep changing names, you know, serving. And then I'm like, okay, fertility. So then I realized that it represents fertility, right? And you know what is about Baphomet go like that with the hands, and that signify, you know, as above, so below. So then, okay, that's what it is. And I realized, like, the wings, right? The wings on the Baphomet symbolize the flight. Because I'm going into symbology, right? Because the main thing for me is the symbolism. The symbolism is the main thing for me, because you're not gonna come out and be like, oh, I just wear red on Christmas because it's pretty and everybody else do it. You have to find out why you're doing these things. You know, why are you doing these things? Anyways. The wings, why they put wings on them, right? Maybe people say, oh, it's Lucifer, the fallen angel. Okay, fallen angel, right? Why does it have to be some fallen thing for you, right? That's your perspective, that it's a fallen angel. Maybe not. But for me, I see it as, I'm now starting to see it as, okay, the wings they signify, right, the flight of a liberated soul. Okay, what soul? I don't know what soul, maybe your soul, maybe the entity's soul, but this is all symbolism, right? And the horns has to do with the crown chakra. That's where the crown chakra is, at the top of the head. So when you might look like a halo for some people, but that is representing the crown chakra. Okay, so we have that aside, right? And I'm realizing that, okay, there's a depiction and there's somewhere that it says that, okay, Lucifer is a light bearer, right? So if you're a light bearer, why is there so much darkness behind your depiction, right? And then I'm realizing, okay, it seems like there's this like bastardization happening, and who's doing the bastardizing? Most of the bastardization that I've seen was from the pagans and the Romans, right? I don't see it really bastardized in the depictions in Egypt or wherever else in Africa. Maybe there is, show it to me if there is, but whoever bastardized shit, fuck that shit. I'm not with that shit. If you're gonna bastardize some shit, well, that's up to you. You know, there's no good, there's no bad, really. You know, it's all up to you. If you see something good and I see something bad, it's all selective. Yeah. Anyways, the light bearer is basically the light bearer clothed in disguise of evil. Okay. Why would a light bearer clothe himself in disguise of evil? I don't know. I'm still, twisted on that one. I'm still wondering what that one means. Really, I don't get it. Anyways, where this is going is, right, the ram is basically in astrology, right? Because you have to go back to astrology when you even talk about Egypt or in anything ancient, because a lot of these things have something to do with astrology. Because when you look, December 25th, that's the big day or whatever, it has something to do with astrology, because the sun, or winter solstice or whatever, the sun, there's something with the sun on that day. That's the day when the time of the day changes, right? Anyways, let's keep it going. The deity in astrology is Aries. That's the Ram deity in astrology, because that is the deity which has the depiction of Amun-Ra. That's the deity that Amun-Ra takes on. That's the image that Amun-Ra takes on in Egypt, right? And that's the beginning of the zodiac year. That is spring. That is life. That is fertility. And I'm realizing, okay, this was all about the whole fertility thing. So why were these people sacrificing kids? Why were they doing that? And then I'm realizing, you know what? You decide what you want to do with these entities, okay? If I decide, Satan is good, you can't tell me nothing, then I decide that he's good. But if I decide, Satan is evil, you can't tell me nothing, then he is evil in my eyes. If I hate that thing and say it's evil, then it's going to be evil. And I'm realizing, okay, you have the power, okay? And what has happened is, what I believe has happened is, it was all these people's perspective of this entity and how they want to use the energy. They decided, okay, this is a very powerful thing. We just got it from wherever, and we're gonna use it for whatever we really like to do. Maybe they really like to take away kids and fuck them and whatever. Maybe they really like to do all these crazy shit, and they wanted to, harvest that fear energy and use it for themselves. Maybe they feel good from doing that. Maybe it was good to them. Maybe it wasn't bad to them. That's why they probably did it. So who am I to say, okay, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be fucking the kids, you shouldn't be doing that, when they themselves believe it's right? And you can't tell them nothing. They did this shit for so many years. Whenever you look at it, how many years they did that shit for? Hundreds of years. They had fun. They probably still doing it today. The thing is, there's so much a bad image on the deities now. Like, say, like Baphomet. Everybody, like, a lot of people will hate Baphomet and like, oh, that's Satan, no, Illuminati, whatever. And they have no clue, right, that this is connected to the Aries Ram deity, which is obviously connected to the seasons and how the cycles of life here on Earth, right? And the Ram deity represents the beginning of the zodiac year. Not just the zodiac year, that's spring. When Aries comes in, it's spring. And that's spring represents life. Life is coming out, new fruits are growing and everything, right? So that's fertility right there, right? Okay. So what I realized that happened is the depictions and all that is the conditioning and the constant programming that has happened. The programming and the conditioning, that's what's happened, that caused a bad or so-called low vibrational or negative connotation of these entities. I don't know why these people did these things to these kids or whatever, but there's an energy, right, on that Christian and Christmas thing. I said it already. The Krampus, half goat, half man, whatever, run around, steal the kids, whatever. They felt like doing that. I don't know why they did that. That's their business. Shit. And they ain't doing that shit to my kids or no kids I know about. They better not try that shit anyways. But what fucked it up was these people did that shit, and it already happened. I'm not gonna tell you, okay, just because they did that, don't celebrate your thing. It's all up to you. It's your choice, right? But I realized there's so much superstition, right? And these images, right? These images that even that the people that they were using, and the images that these people were using to do whatever they were doing, to harness whatever energy they were trying to harness, right? I can tell you all the crazy shit that they did or whatever, but what does it even matter? How does that even serve you? What does that do for you, right? How does that do for you? It's just like, what does that do for you? If I tell you to stop celebrating something, what does that do for you really? Nothing really, right? Anyways, this superstition just have you thinking you have to appease these entities. And I realized, okay, before they were sacrificing anything, before they were doing all of that, what were they doing? What were people doing before why do these people feel like they have to sacrifice kids to these deities? Who decided that? Who the fuck did that? And I realized it's somebody, right? It's somebody who gave their own power away. You literally decided, okay, you know what? I have to give blood to this entity to get whatever I want or whatever. You know, and then all these other things just start coming into it. Because when you put a bad apple beside a good apple, it just like spread to the next apple, and it gets all fucked up. So I'm realizing, damn, superstition, man. Superstition, you know? It's like the precursor to religion, you know? That's like the precursor to religion, which is control. Like, religion are basically control. Even when you look at a lot of the past things, you know, it's like even in Rome or whatever. When I did ancient Rome in school, I realized, they even said it, the government, their main goal was to find ways and means to control the people, because the people will rebel a lot, you know? And when they really got to really controlling the people, right, is when they use religion. They realize that, okay, all these other things work, right? The games, you know, you set up these games and you give them these events, so they don't, you know, give them food and all that. That is only temporary. You can only you can only go to a game a certain time. You can't go to a game every day. But religion, when you're religious, this is a belief that you have, and you go there every week and you read something, you're religiously reading something, and this is a belief that you have within yourself that this is true. So that alone can decide decide the choices that you make. So that's where it really come from, right? And I'm realizing that the image, which was bastardized by all these people, the image was people created. So you are basically bowing down, worshiping, feasting, giving energy to an image that another human being created. Because who created these images? They sure didn't get it from the sky. They got it from their mind. You are the creator. You create these things, right? So what these humans created these things, and now people are bound to them, harnessing the energies and tapping into someone else's belief. What about your belief? What about your knowing? You know now, right? Everything I told you. That the energy is so strong on this Christmas day or whatever. The solstice and then the sun being energized or whatever, right? So this is where I'm coming to, right? A good story is like the number one thing that will sell. Okay, like money, for instance. You have paper money. Paper money, it ain't worth shit, but it's backed by gold, right? So it's backed by something. So it's like me. I have this pen. Maybe the pen ain't worth nothing, but it's backed by me. I said it's worth something because I made the pen. Say I made the pen, and I'm like, yo, this pen is worth something. So it's backed by me then, right? Same thing with the gold. And then now the paper, I'm saying it's backed by gold, but what is the story behind that? It being backed by gold. It has a story, it has history of people fighting for it, fighting for the gold, people fighting for this country, people fighting for that. And it's like a story that people believe in. And if you believe in something, then it becomes your possession. It possesses you. The more you own things, the more things that own you. If you have a pen, you have the obligation to move the pen. You have to move the pen. So the pen basically owns you. You have a car, you have to keep on dealing with the car. So the car basically owns you. If you didn't have the car, then the car would not have you giving your energy to it. You feel me? Anyways, it's also back and forth anyways, but that is just my perspective. Maybe your perspective is different. Fine by me. That's cool. That's your perspective. But here is why I don't celebrate the Christmas thing. There's too much crazy shit. The Krampus, the kids, and all this insane things that's on that whole Christmas entity, like that whole Christmas word, that whole Christmas energy, that whole Christmas spirit. There's too much bastardized things happening there. When you go back to the original, which is like Aries, the ram, who ended up becoming Baphomet for some reason, to represent, it became Baphomet to represent, we want to, have an image, and all the physical and all that. So that's why it became the Baphomet. But when you go back to Aries, and we realize, okay, this is about fertility. And that's the part that's not bastardized. It's about fertility, and as I said, the awakened crown chakra and all that, because that's when everything's like, yeah, it feels good in every life, So this is about all of those good things. So I don't want to put my energy into something that has all those things, those bad things attached to it. You feel me? I don't want to give my energy to that. I just don't want to give my energy to that. You feel me? Because I don't need to. I don't need to give gifts to receive gifts. You feel me? You get what you give and all that. That's what you believe. But I believe I will get whatever I please. And that is my belief. That is my knowing, actually. It's not like a belief. I know I will get anything that will serve me, it will come into my life. Anything that should serve me will come into my life. Okay, and that's just what it is. I am fertility. I have balls. I have penis. I am a part of fertility. You feel me? So I don't need to celebrate something that somebody else created. I can fuck every day of my life. Why do I need to celebrate fucking on this one day? Right? This one day when they put all these energies into it, all their type of fucking into it, fucking kids and all that shit. I don't fuck kids. What the fuck am I celebrating a day that people these people decided to choose that day to steal the kids and go fuck them or whatever they did with them? I don't know what they did with them. Maybe they do that every other days, but they're not signifying those days. They're not focusing their energies on those days. This is the day that they'll be focusing their energy on. So I don't want nothing to do with that shit. Anyways, I don't need to be giving all the gifts. I know I'll be getting gifts. I don't need to be singing no songs. I sing songs I like to sing. I don't need to sing those songs. You feel me? I don't need to do all this crazy shit to get anything. And what I want for you to do in this, from this, what I want for you to take from this is take back your power. Okay? Take back your power and take back your control. Or else keep giving it away. Keep giving away the gifts because you want somebody to feel nice because of one day, and do whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. Who am I to tell you what to do, you know? I'm just making suggestions here based on my perspective of everything. You know, I don't hate Christmas. I don't hate people that celebrate Christmas. It's all up to you. You know, I just put some little things out there that I found online or in a book or whatever, you know. That doesn't mean I don't put attention to giving and receiving. Doesn't mean I don't like the day, the 25th, when the sun does what it does on this day. That doesn't mean that, okay? That doesn't mean you shouldn't do what it's all up to you. I'm just making my choice. Anyways, I want to make this disclaimer also that everything is about intention. So it's about your choice and your intention. So I want you to stop being fear-filled and don't let fear make you make these choices, okay? Because if you're making these choices based on fear, then that's all you're going to manifest in your life, the fear. You can continue celebrating it and just say, yo, none of that shit has nothing to do with me. But you have to remember that you're tapping into a ritual, a very big ritual at that. No matter what the deity is, it can be good and it can be bad. It's all up to you. Because as you can see, the Baphomet deity, Pan, this and whatever, Satan and all these things, right? It's the depiction of fertility, the Baphomet, and the Pan and whatever, right? But as much as you can use it for fertility, you can also use it for destruction. Okay? Say for instance, even Ocean is all okay, the fertility and all these things, and Ocean would help in bringing you know, for relationships and fertility in childbirth or whatever. You can also use Ocean to destroy someone's relationship and to make someone's womb barren and make them not have kids. You can use anything you can use for good. You can also use it for bad. It's all up to you. You are the one. You are the one, yo. It's just that a lot of people have used Satan for doing so-called bad, you know, in our eyes, or in my eyes, it's bad, because if you're raping a kid, I think that's bad. And if you're destroying things, I think that's bad. But they're using it for their control, to control the people and all that. They're using it for bad. But also, spring isn't bad, fertility isn't bad, but it shows you that these people realized, okay, we can use this for whatever we want to use it for. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening with Christmas. They're using it for something. I don't know what the fuck they're using it for, but from the history I just found, it ain't nothing good. Okay? It ain't nothing good. So I don't want to say, I'm not saying, okay, I don't fuck with Baphomet, I don't fuck with all these the fertility, I don't fuck with this and that. I just don't fuck with what these people created. I don't fuck with the things that they created, to the outcomes that they are depicting. I don't fuck with none of the shit they were doing to the kids, or even they're still doing to the kids, or whatever they're trying to manifest, and the control that they're trying to the place over the universe or people as a whole. I just don't fuck with that. So that's just my perspective on it. But you are the one. You have the control. You decide who is bad. I didn't even need to have a flower of life thing right here. I could put a Baphomet head right here and use it for good. It's all up to me. It's all up to you. It's your perspective. Oh, wait. Love. Peace.
You know it's a sunny day, and we going out to play. I got smoke up in my eyes.